Hello everyone, I'm BCEO, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the two-episode release of Daredevil Born Again. So this is episode 5 and 6. So we're going to talk about 5 first, then move on to 6. So episode 5, well, 1, spoilers ahead, but 2, let's get right into doing 5 first, then 6, and then where we think the rest of the series is going to go. So one of the big things here is Matt is trying to get a loan from the bank to try to expand his business. And who is he speaking to? Then none other than Kamala's father. Yes, the Kamala from Miss Marvel. So this was a cameo. I can honestly say I was not expecting. Because we've never seen him in a serious movie or show. With him being in it, right? So I thought this was very interesting because apparently he's a banker in New York, which I find to be funny. So anyway, that being said, so he basically states that although he finds Matt Murdock and his cause very noble, what makes him a great defense attorney unfortunately makes him a bad lender. And so because of that, they were going to have to deny him. So Matt goes and leaves. So Matt calls up his partner to tell them basically what would happen, that unfortunately that it was not going to work out, and that they're going to have to try a different bank. While he was walking around, though, he hears the bank being robbed by I honestly am not gonna lie to you. I literally the first thought I came to mind was Ninja Turtles, but now I'm thinking Power Rangers because of all the different color masks. But anyway, I digress. So we have a bunch of Irishmen trying to rob the bank. So that's when Matt decides to tell whoever he was on the phone with, which we assume is his partner, to call 911. He goes back to the bank. So he goes back to the bank to pretend that he is. Granted, he's not lying 100%, but he knows what's going on. So he goes into the bank, trying to be a patron when in actuality, he knows what he's doing, but everyone else is like, oh my gosh, a blind guy came in here. They ordered, the head guy tells them to lock the doors, and they bring Matt in with everyone else. He gets hit in the gut. They all have to go on their knees. They're then doing what they need to do. Apparently, this is all on St. Patty's Day, which I find to be hilarious, even more so. But anyway, their goal is to go into the safe deposit boxes down below and steal something in particular. So so anyway, they go through this big thing. The police come. They're trying to negotiate. They agree to let two hostages go. That's when Matt and this woman get chosen. Matt requests that her husband go instead of him, and explains basically about his life. And the guy's like, "Wow, you have the worst luck possible. I need to keep you around. So you're going to stay here, and I'm going to let those two go." A lot of gun pointing at Matt, which is to me hilarious, just because he can't see it. Granted, we know he knows it, but still. So then the assistant bank manager, aka Kamala's dad, gets basically known as being the second in command. So they're more of like, okay, we got him, and he has to go open the vault down below. Now, unfortunately, he does not have the key or access to it, only the bank manager. And for whatever reason, the bank manager wasn't supposed to be back for another few hours. Fun time. So, that being said, Kamala's dad does not admit that he is not able to get into the vault. So anyway, they do some negotiation, blah blah blah. He tells Matt kind of what's going on, and Matt's like, "You're gonna have to distract them as long as possible." And so Kamala's dad's like, "Okay, I'll figure it out." So Kamala's dad gets brought down to the vault. Everyone kind of splits up. Matt has to go to the bathroom. He takes out one guard with ease. He then goes to help out Kamala's dad, takes out the other guard. They then start going through. They find, because apparently they were looking for one specific safety deposit box. They go in there, they find a jewelry pouch. They look into it, and it is a diamond. A very, honestly, it looks more like an amber to me, but clearly it must be a different cut of diamond. Anyway. They then go upstairs. The guards start getting pissed off about what's going on. Matt explains that he's got the diamond and they're gonna have to do what he says, and they're like, no way in hell. And that's when Matt is like face to face to a gun. They then break the police then break in. Gas gas bombs go off, or smoke grenades go off. Matt takes out two of the guys himself, takes one of the masks, and then he hears that one of them changes into a different outfit or removes the outfit they were in, and apparently disguised as a cop. So Matt dons on the red mask, from one of the bank robbers, I have to say. So Matt then follows the guy, uses his walking stick as his batons, and beats this cop down. Now I don't know if he's a real cop or not. I'm assuming not, but to be honest with you, in this show, I'm not confident either way. He beats this cop to a bloody pulp and leaves him there, and that is how the episode ends. Actually, no, that's not true. The episode ends with Matt Murdock coming back into um, the bank to drop off the diamond into Kamala's dad's handy dish, and we see it there and everything else. And then obviously he gets invited over to see Kamala and everything else. But states he'll have to do it another time. And that's how the episode ends, with Kamala's dad finding the diamond. Now we know somebody hired this team, but we don't know who or why or anything else. And that, my friends, is the end of episode 5. So let's get right into episode 6. Episode 6, we finally find out about Muse more in detail. He's made murals throughout the city, all the vigilantes, including Kingpin. So the sanitation team is trying to wash the graffiti off. It's not coming off. They then do an analysis on the paint to try to figure out the best way to remove it. Turns out to be made with human blood, with all of the DNA combined is a minimum of 60 dead or 60 missing people. We shouldn't say they're dead, but the assumption is they're dead. So they then give this information to Mayor Fisk, who then is like does not freak out, which is weird. He starts to laugh a little bit. And then then he decides he's going to figure out what he needs to do. He then talks to the police commissioner and explains that he's going to get more cops, specifically for a task force that he's going to be in charge of, aka the mayor. And then they're going to be allowed overtime and everything else, and he's handpicked them himself. And the police commissioner's like, man, this is like the worst group of people, worst cops ever. And he's like, yeah. And they're perfect for the job. So Wilson Fisk then goes out there to talk to this new task force, explain why these people are looked upon less than, and yet he thinks they're the New York's finest, and that they should be treated as such. So he wants to make sure that this team is allowed to basically do whatever they need to, and not be afraid of these masked vigilantes anymore, because they're going to look for this killer. Now, what has happened in the meantime as well, we have Muse working on another mural, and these two girls are like, oh my goodness, granted the drug. Oh my goodness, I want to take a picture with you. You're like an incredible artist. He then kills them, gouges out the around their eyes, so they look just like his mask, right? Put their bodies right next to the mural and show basically an FU to New York City. Wilson Fisk sees this, blah, blah, blah. They do the whole usual thing whatsoever. We also have somebody from the criminal empire to come out and threaten Fisk. And Fisk is like, just get out of here. I'm done with you completely. And we're starting to see Wilson Fisk turn more and more like the Kingpin. And so we have Matt Murdock going through, and then he finds out about the murders, aka Muse. And so that's when none other than our friend, he's decided to stay out of it though. So his informant, who's a former cop, tells him to stay out of it. The police got this, blah blah blah. And he's like, okay, I'll stay out of it. He then meets with White Tiger's niece, who was like, all these people are lost, and it's, you're doing nothing, and you're supposed to be a defense attorney, and you're supposed to be for the people, but you're not for the people unless it works for your benefit. Anyway, she obviously doesn't know who she's talking about. She then gets kidnapped by Muse and gets her blood drained by Muse to be used for another mural, which we do not see, obviously. That's when Matt gets a phone call from White Tiger's wife, who then states her niece has been missing. Now he knows who it is, so he dons on the Daredevil costume and goes looking for her. So he goes into the subway system, finds where Muse is, and this honestly is one of the best fights ever. So this is a duel fight, and I know what you're thinking. What? No, it's not. It is. So cinematically, it is Daredevil versus Muse, and it's Kingpin versus Adam. And let me tell you, this was a fight I was not prepared for in any sense of the word. Kingpin wanted to get his hands dirty once again, so he gives Adam an axe, and then obviously Muse has a knife, and Daredevil has his batons. And it is a brutal fight. Brutal. He starts smacking Muse around. Muse gets a few shots in, don't get me wrong. He's also physically strong, which I find to be very interesting. But anyway, they begin to fight, blah, blah, blah. We then have Kingpin dodging axe swings, and then he breaks the axe and beats Adam to a bloody pulp. I'm assuming Adam's dead because he's slamming him against brick walls and a brick pillar and breaking bricks off this guy's skull. So if Adam's still alive, I will be shocked. And it's ambiguous whether or not Adam's still alive or not. And then we have Muse get knocked out, we're assuming, possibly killed. I'm thinking knocked out by Daredevil, and then he pulls out the stuff from the niece, resuscitates her, and she, we know she's alive at the very least. So anyway, the episode ends quite literally with us knowing that she's alive, and we don't know what's going on with Muse or with Kingpin and Adam. So it's left ambiguous to begin with. And just saying, like, this was... So episode 5 was definitely so much so of showing us that Matt wants to beat Daredevil again, but isn't quite confident to be there yet. And then in episode 6, we get Muse and Kingpin showing their stuff, along with Daredevil coming back, all combined together. Just incredible. We now have Daredevil being linked to the main MCU because of Kamala's dad. Not that we didn't think he was already a part of it anyway, but it's solidifying that things are going to be interconnected throughout the whole thing, which I find to be very interesting. Overall, I definitely like 6 better than 5, but these 2 episodes were pretty good. I mean, I definitely understand why they did them together, but very good. Cannot wait for episode 7 to see where the rest of this series is going to go. But I'm assuming Muse is going to be arrested. He's then going to escape and try to make one big mural for the end. And then we're going to see a conflict between... We're either going to see a conflict between Daredevil and Kingpin, or a conflict between Daredevil and Muse, where Kingpin then becomes a mayor of everyone respects. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But for now, let me know what you guys thought about these 2 episodes down in the comments below. Did you like them? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.